We are talking fathers today. We are celebrating fathers. I know that when we come to the issue of fathers, it's very emotional for some people, especially those who do not have a good relationship with their fathers. But I personally think that fathers of today, you and the younger fathers after you, they are doing a whole lot that our fathers were not doing in terms of being present, not just providing the money, but being present. And so I feel that if that has changed, then you guys should be celebrated a whole lot. So, Mark, has becoming a father changed you?
Of course.
How?
Of course, it will change you.
How? How so? Tell me.
I was a boy, growing up to marry, and then having children, becoming a father. And you realize that things you could do in the days before, now you have to make adjustments. Because now you have a boy, followed by a girl, sometimes you might have to take them to the hospital, have to take them to school, and blah, blah, blah. So it will change you. I mean, once you become a father, you don't decide. The system itself will change you, whether you like it or not. Yeah, so changes, yes.
The fact that you are smiling means that it's good change.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh, yes. I mean, it comes with all the challenges, but, I mean, once you are prepared for it and you know that, no, there's going to be a change, it's all positive at the end of the day.
Okay. How old were you when you first became a dad?
30.
Okay.
Yeah. I married at the age of 29, so...
Papa.
Yeah. 30, I was a dad.
Okay. TK, how old were you when you became a dad?
Do I remember?
What?
Interesting. I think I was 27.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 27. The interesting thing about what Mark is saying about the changes that comes with you becoming a dad. Fortunately or unfortunately for me, I'm the only child of both parents. And I came through with only my dad at some point in time when my mother passed on.
Oh.
So there was that issue with dad, only son, that kind of thing. But my father was very determined to get me to education.
Okay.
But there's some serious thing that he did with me along the line, which actually surfaced with me when I started my family. So like Mark is saying, it's been quite positive, but a lot of challenges. And that's why you guys have to celebrate us, because if you knew her, Jack,
I know, yes, yeah. That's true. That's true. PSA says, even your laugh mimics grandpa. Nana Vedumos Jr. says, great show. Nana, we miss you. We are doing the show with you today, so I hope you're doing well. I'm going to come to you, TK, because of what you said. So that's why you have to celebrate us. Yeah. So I'm assuming that means you think we don't celebrate you enough.
No, you don't.
Okay, tell me about it. Should they say everything?
Yes.
They are listening.
Yes. Okay, so from my side, from my personal experiences, my career from the beginning tilted me towards a certain direction.
Okay.
One, starting from media, I didn't stay home much. Number two, working with a pharmaceutical company, always traveling on the road. And then moving to telecom, also always moving on the road. So technically, I wasn't home many times.
Okay.
So it got to a point where that's where if you have a very strong woman as a wife, it helps. Because the person becomes more like a foundation for your kids as they're growing.
Okay.
So in the initial stages of my kids, I wasn't really part of them. But it really dawned on me when I noticed that anytime that I got home, if I don't buy them anything, they would really not even recognize them in the house. So when I buy
because they're used to being without you, isn't it?
Exactly. So it's only when I buy ice cream, then they will come around me. But the day that I don't get anything home, I also move so we have a few. So I noticed that no, there was something wrong. That's why I actually started thinking to what I have to do to get the kids back around me.
Okay.
Otherwise, my wife would have been a very fantastic woman, supporting them at any point in time, even though I wasn't home any time.
Okay.
And I remember one incident that happened. Catholics, we can baptize our kids at a very younger age. I was actually in Tamale working with a pharmaceutical company, and she called me, and I'd totally forgotten about it. So imagine that she had the same style that I had. Very, very difficult for us to do this kind of thing. So those petty things brought me to the attention that, Master, you're losing something back at home. So even though I stay with only my father, he instilled certain discipline, certain thing I needed to do at some point in time. My career tilted me off. But when I came back to understand that I have to do certain things right, it really fell in place and everything went fine. And the reason why I'm not celebrating us, it's because of that beginning. For example, for me, that attachment, that emotional connection from the beginning wasn't really there.
Okay.
And I remember that anytime there's Mother's Day, the kids will come to me, Daddy, then they have mommy. And
'Cause
I
they
remember the
see
last
her.
time they could even come to me and say, Mommy, see any baby mouth. Even to me that.
Even now?
Even now, they will come slightly. I mean, I see it comes here and come, you know. But for the mother, it is stronger because of the initial connection that she had with them, which is okay.
Right.
But just that we fathers now, we need to be very careful with how we take our career to affect our family. And if I not had that aha moment to see that I was losing my kids, especially, I would have totally lost them. I would have known only their mother, and that would have been very bad. So they don't celebrate me. I don't grudge them. I mean, my name is party. That's basically it.
But if you don't go out, the money doesn't come.
But we have to balance it. Now I've learned my lessons.
Okay.
I've learned my lessons. If I had to go, I mean, it got to a point I was so glued to my work that if I have to go, I have to go. It didn't really matter what was happening at home. I have to go.
Okay.
But now that I've learned my lessons, if I suppose I was going to do the same kind of work as I used to, I would have just dropped those work. I would never do it. Even if I was going to bring the money, I'm sure there would have been other means of making money as against that. Because why would I stay in Tamale for 3 months trying to open a branch when you've just married?
The passion, isn't it?
It's a passion. That's why we need to now start balancing it.
Okay.
And seriously, it's happening to a lot of young guys people now because they think that they have to make money as against their relationships. So the guy goes into a relationship and within 2-3 months, it's only phone. And if you use phone, a human being will come in between the two of you, and then it ends up something else. Something else.
Right.
So there has to be a balance.
Okay.
I've learned my lessons.
They say hindsight is 20/20, right? Mark, what about you?
Well, just a quick comment on what TK said.
Okay.
Sometimes you only learn the lessons when financially you become a little stable. Okay. Initially, when you are not financially stable, it is so difficult to think that, no, whatever happens, let me go home. You are going home to do what?
With the empty hands.
You see, by the time you get home, there's a bill.
Yeah.
And the light bill, and then you come home empty-handed, you see. So initially, when we are growing up, that is, in the initial stages of our marriages, that is the time when most of us have found regular jobs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you want to do everything to make sure that you are financially okay. So that is why, because initially when I got married, I think that was around the same time I got a job at Capital Radio.
Okay.
It was so demanding. Early in the morning, 5 a.m. And then I could stay on because I was reading news and I was also hosting programs and doing other things. So I go and do the morning devotion. I wait and read the news at 7, and then I have to read the news at 12. In between, I have to go and get some voice pops for my program in the evening. And then I have a late evening show up to 10 p.m. And you see, you are trying to build a career. So sometimes that is where the problem lies. But then later on, as you advance in life, you begin to realize that those things, they are not the only things that matter.
Yeah.
Of course, family is so important. I agree that fathers have not been celebrated enough. And I think I'm not the only one who will agree with that. In your initial comments, you said that Mother's Day was just a few weeks back, and then a few days from now we're going to celebrate Father's Day. But you don't see anything.
Yeah.
There's nothing on radio. You don't hear anything. You don't see anything on TV. So that in itself tells you that men are not celebrated enough. And I think it is time for us to begin to celebrate the fathers.
Okay.
Because, as you said rightly, the fathers of my generation and the younger ones, you realize that we are doing far, far better than what our fathers did. I, for instance, I can say that if you rate it 100%, over 80% of the cases I have taken my children to the hospital.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So I take them to hospital. Sometimes I have to take permission from my office and stay at home to take care of the child. Okay. So you realize that we are doing better. In my church, I made an observation. I realized that most of the time, the norm is that the children are with their mothers in church. But in my church, I observed something, that the guys were carrying the children on their shoulders throughout the service. So, unknown to them, I began to take pictures of the fathers who were doing it, and I got a lot of them, to my surprise. And that is confirming what you are saying, that the fathers of our generation, we are doing a lot more better. And unfortunately, we are not at home most of the time. So that connection is not as strong as the connection the children have with their mothers. And we don't blame them, because it is so with us as well. We have stronger connection with our mothers than with our fathers.
Right.
So it is all because of the fact that they are always around, mothers are always around, you know.
And the children have a 9-month head start in our
see.
womb before you ever get to meet them. So you can never catch up. A beautiful way of making up to the kids for us not always being around is to be very liberal, tolerant, and kind to them, but firm in instilling discipline and respect. When you enter the gates, the boys will start dancing because the power is here. Very nuanced comment, but I understand. Again, he says, I think, but wait, that thing is very annoying. He says being very liberal. So you, the mother, you are like shouting, yelling and everything, and daddy comes with ice cream and biscuits, and it's like, hey, daddy is here, then what? That makes you the bad one. Because you have been shouting all day.
That's where the balance actually comes in. Because if that doesn't happen, there'll be trouble in the house.
Okay.
And if you look at the personality types, you can hardly see couples who are within the same personality types. So, for example, the extrovert marrying or introvert marrying. There's always the opposite. So you can have the husband being an extrovert, outgoing, noisy kind of person, the woman being reserved, quiet, strict person.
Right.
So that balance has to come. But the unfortunate thing that happens with us, because you think that because you are punishing them, they seem to like you more. No, they seem to like us but not liking you. Is that, Charlie, I've been out for almost 1 month. I'm not in the house. And then just to make peace in the house, I get the kids ice cream. Technically, the kids will come close to me. But I leave them to you for you to punish them when they need be. That doesn't also mean that the man should not punish the kids when they do anything wrong.
Right.
You know, but I mean, for me, the experience I've gone through, if I have to write a book, there's a lot I can write.
Maybe you should.
I should.
So I'm challenging you on the show, right?
Yeah, very.
Okay.
I mean, we are saying things we never have said in the house.
You will say all today.